Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel on a wonderful evening to be a Celtic fan. We've won the Premier Sports Cup final by 2-1 against Hibernian and Stevie. It was a pretty exciting afternoon, let's just say.
Yeah, second half was so end to end. It was a great game of football. It was a classic cup final, if you will, wasn't it? But just so happy Celtic are the winners. I'm so happy for the team, so happy for the manager, and happy for you as well. You seem to be buzzing on the way down the road.
Sorry, I'm just a bit preoccupied because I had us on the wrong audio mixer to start there, so hopefully we sound a little bit clearer now than we did just at the start, and just let us know everything's going fine. And then we'll get into the game because it was an incredible afternoon. Stevie has pages and pages of notes. I've got about 4 bullet points from the whole game, and they're all in the first half because the second half I just lost my shit basically. It was an incredible second half. We just do what we always try and do and work our way through what happened. How are you feeling like when you woke up this morning, apart from hungover?
It's not that hungover, Wido. I was buzzing today. So it was it's always a great feeling when you're in Celtic and in a final. You look at our record at Hampden, and as far as I'm aware now, we haven't lost since that one against Rangers 2016. So Hampden used to be such a terrible, nerve-wracking place to go, and in the last sort of 5-6 years it's always been happy memories, so that helped. But I did feel when I woke up today, it was just the enthusiasm under the manager and under this team. And I think what was a big help was Wednesday night. We were at that Ralston goal, we were all buzzing from it, and that we were on a high for that, because if we didn't get a result, getting into that final could have been a bit tricky, especially when Hibs won during the week too. But I was feeling good.
I know you were, because you were telling me non-stop, nothing to worry about. Stevie is the definition of
ice cool.
Well, I suppose can you get definitions of phrases? I don't know, but you were just so confident, ultra confident going into this game, and I really wasn't. My stomach was in bits this afternoon, probably down to the breakfast I had, but other than that, I was really struggling. I thought it was going to be one of those afternoons when I expected us to win, but I really thought there was going to be some tough moments for us this afternoon. Ange even spoke about that yesterday in the press conference to our very own John McGinley. He said, finals, expect things to go wrong, and I expected things to go wrong this afternoon, and you were the opposite. You just thought I was going to go swimmingly, and I guess we were both kind of right. Things did go wrong, but in the end I think we were the better team and the worthy winners. But we can get into that. In terms of when you saw the team, the big thing, which probably is a major statement and shows just how far he's come on, is that all the chat was about Anthony Ralston being left out of a cup final. Yeah,
especially it was down to his heroics in midweek as well. And if you were to say Anthony Ralston, in the summer, that down the line Anthony Ralston's going to get left out and a lot of people are going to be unhappy at that, you would have been going very good. But yeah, I was very shocked, especially that he got left out. Not only I thought he played okay as well during the week, and yeah, I was surprised that he was left out for Juranovic. I really was. But yeah, at the same time, I wasn't going ballistic a lot because I trust the manager that much, and I still felt no matter what we would have got the result anyway. Because this side, they do play as a proper team. We don't just rely on the one person.
And just, fast forward into the end of the afternoon, and Ralston comes on with 20 minutes to go and just fitted in seamlessly and was excellent when he came on, when we really needed him to be solid defensively. And obviously the other big thing when the team was announced was the fact that Kyogo was fit. We're obviously going to get on to wee spoiler, everyone. We're going to chat about Kyogo in this video. I think we might mention him a few times, but great news, a massive boost. I mean, I said it on the preview the other day from Hampden. If we found out the team, half 1, 1:45, and Kyogo was in it, I just knew it would give everyone a huge boost, because he's just such an important player, but also an important personality and an infectious personality. He's a great player, but he's just so loved by everyone. It's almost like how Kyogo's doing is how the mood around Celtic Park is, because when he went off injured, was it against Betis, it was almost like there was a grey cloud above Parkhead, and when he was fit for today, it was almost as if that grey cloud had parted.
Yeah, definitely. He's a big presence, isn't he? And I think as well, you've got to take into effect that as much as we were buzzing, I think Hibs as well would have been having a sense of dread going on now, because bear in mind how good Kyogo was against them at Easter Road. He ran them ragging in that first half. Gave Porteous an absolute nightmare. So, I mean, and Porteous wasn't in great form running into the game. He's always got a mistake in him. So, great guy. But if you're him, if you're that Hibs defence and you're seeing Kyogo's fit and he's ready to go for a big game that he always excels in, if you are them, you're like, oh, come on, give us a break.
Atmosphere-wise, before the game, I was busy, obviously at the game, busy messaging people saying this is incredible, that the pyro was sensational. And then I saw the image of some of the stuff that was going on, and it maybe wasn't quite as amazing as I'd felt at the time, but being there at the time, I thought the atmosphere was great. It felt like a proper big game, as we kind of all expected it would.
Yeah, defo. And as well, you had a wee dig at the Hibs fans, didn't you? And
loads of empty spaces in that Hibs end. Loads. I mean, I don't know if COVID or whatever, but or they just not shifted tickets, but there was a lot of empty spaces in that Hibs end.
Yeah, but I think we expected that, and I think they were boasting or having a laugh about how they didn't sell out their allocation. But let's not talk about that. I guess we'll get too worked up on which is a celebrationary of a show here.
First half in a word.
Flat. What's it?
I think we were really in control of the first half. Hibs did nothing at all.
No, I didn't see anything from them.
Barely had a touch, Joe Hart. I felt in the first half I'm talking about, I felt our wingers were really letting the side down. We thought we were getting into some good areas. We were getting Abada squared up against the fullback, Mikey Johnson on the other side, and I just felt that their end product was really letting us down at that stage. And I also felt at that stage that we weren't getting Kyogo into the game nearly enough. I mean, we've obviously got limited time here, so we should probably spend most of the time chatting about the second half, because that's where all the drama had. But just briefly, first half in general, how are you feeling at half time?
I was still confident in the second half as well, because a lot of it was down to the fact that I think Hibs worked pretty well off the ball in the first half. I still felt as if we were in control though. We had a lot of the ball, and we would tire them down and would wear them out in the second half, and that's what I always feel with a Celtic team, is as long as we keep the ball and as long as the other team does the chasing, then we will have a chance and they will tire out and we'll always capitalise. But yeah, I didn't see the start of the second half coming or unfolding the way it actually did.
I think we both spoke about it, and we both had a bit of a bad feeling when Hibs got that corner. It's weird, only at Hampden it seems to happen, but you just get a feeling sometimes that something's coming, and I've not seen any of the goals again, so if you're wanting analysis of where it went wrong, try somewhere else, maybe not us, because we're
great advert for your show.
We're just going off the spur of the moment, but it seemed like another bad goal to concede, another set piece goal, and I mean, we'll get your thoughts in a minute, because again they're very different to mine, but I was fearing the worst at that time when Hibs get that goal 1-0 up, given that we'd not really created a real clear-cut opportunity up to that point. I don't think I was fearing it big time. It felt like a Kelly 2012.
For me, it felt more like Hearts 2019 when they scored, and then of course Edward is the talisman for us, and then we'll go on. He scored the double in that game, and then the game we saw today with Kyogo. So I had a lot of shades from that. But yeah, I think after you saw the shambles against Ross County in midweek, with how we didn't deal with that corner very well, and then again today, I just hope it's not going to be a repeated sort of pattern with a Celtic side. Hope it is just a blip for the fact that we've had so many games, and the concentration isn't going to be 100% all the time. If you're no matter what team you are, with the run of games we have, that it is what it is, okay. But I just hope we can cut it out, because we can't afford to regress the way again when it comes to, what we were like, Hamish, when it came to defending set pieces, and we were like this all the time with the Celtic in the past, and at the start of the season, Hearts, Rangers and everything, so I hope we're not regressing and it is just a wee blip. But yeah, I had a terrible feeling at that corner as well, not for the rest of the game, but I did feel there was something coming, and individual mistakes cost us in that one.
I think the big frustration was that as much as we maybe hadn't created a lot, we'd been the far superior team. I mean, Hibs barely had a sniff up until that point. They had some chances, later on in the game that we'll come on to, but up until that point, that was the first real opportunity they had, and suddenly we're 1-0 behind. And I know these things happen in finals, and any game of football, it's about putting the ball in the net. That's the only stat that matters, but it seems like finals, particularly at Hampden, that seems to be the case. But I was fearful at that stage. And then from the kick-off, basically. The ball goes out to Greg Taylor, and it's weird because when Greg Taylor got the ball, I actually thought in my mind, amid all the thoughts of, oh God, we're going to blow this cup, I thought, how amazing would it be to get another Stuart Armstrong Aberdeen Scottish Cup final moment when we scored, a minute after, and we probably scored even quicker this time. From me having that thought, not saying that had anything to do with the goal, but we'll take a look at it. But 3 or 4 seconds later, Kyogo, who up to this point has been on the periphery of the game, just makes a brilliant run in behind, the Hibs defence, and I think it's one touch and a side foot, I think it was left foot, into the corner, and the stadium went absolutely nuts at that stage. Because I think it was because everyone had been so fearful, and we could kind of see the plot developing, and it was Hibs going up to lift the trophy, and Celtic responding so quickly was so important. And we heard a stat on the way in from our pal Lewis saying that this is the first time that Celtic have come from behind to win under Ange, which to do that in a cup final is huge. But getting that equalising goal was just monumental, because if it had gone on 1-0 Hibs, they get deeper and deeper, we get more desperate. It was crucial getting that equaliser. Yeah,
and obviously getting all our men behind the ball and hitting us on the break with guys like Martin Boyle, that would have been brutal. And they're capable of doing that, so it was so quick. But I think the main thing I took away from it, it's so fitting for the way the manager plays, isn't it? It's like, we are a team who play rushed attacking football, and that's what we saw there. Taylor just gets the ball down, and he didn't even have to think about it. It was almost instinctive. It was like he knew where Kyogo was going to be running as well. So I think they've got it drilled into them. No matter what, don't waste time. Where the man's going to be running. Just get the ball up to him, and it's as if they've worked on that. No matter what, just don't let the opposition rest whatsoever. Hibs didn't have any time, and I think that really knocked them. That knocked the wind right out of them, because they would have been shell-shocked after that, because I don't think anyone would have been expecting Hibs to take the lead either. And the fact that we went up and the equalised right after it, I mean, they would have been deflated big time.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Ange philosophy is getting the ball down, sharp passing. But I've said it so many times, for me, Celtic under Ange are at their best when they're putting the ball, over the top. Not necessarily route one football or anything like that, but just now and then put the ball over the top. I think Celtic so often with Kyogo are looking for the perfect run. There was so many of them today. Tom Rogic had 3 or 4 where he could have slipped Kyogo in, and he just didn't quite do it because he didn't think it was perfect. It doesn't need to be a perfect ball with Kyogo. Sometimes just feeding it over the opposition defence. Kyogo's so quick and so intelligent that he'll get onto things, and it's something that going forward, Rangers coming up in a few weeks, I want to see us do. Just put the ball in behind sometimes, because otherwise Kyogo isn't in the game enough for us. But he gets on the end of that, and the keeper's coming out, but you just never had any doubt that he was going to slot that away.
He's a constant pest, isn't he? And opposition players, no matter what, even if he misses one chance, misses a second, he's going to take another one, and that's what he ended up doing. Fantastic display from him.
All these chances now are kind of in some random order in my head. So what kind of order did things go after that? Obviously, we get the winning goal about 20 minutes from the end. I think it was 72 minutes or something like that. It
certainly felt like 20 minutes to go or something anyway.
Yeah. And it kind of, I felt like we had a really good spell after we got the equaliser. In fact, right away we looked like scoring. Like Mikey Johnson had one that was kind of blocked away in the end, and Tom Rogic was really growing into the game, and Kyogo was just really growing into the game.
Am I right in saying, did Kyogo score after Starfelt get turned inside out and Hart made a great save though?
It was 1-1 at that stage.
Was it 1-1 at that point? Yeah, okay.
And the winning goal, it comes from a free kick. I turned away.
Quite thinking again?
Well, again, that's what Ange has been preaching right from the start, and we see it sometimes with the short corners, and people kind of go about, put it in the box. But that was another example of Celtic doing all that. Ange mic'd up session from the summer. We never stop. We keep going. We saw it on Wednesday night at Ross County, and I think we saw it again today. Hibs just switched off at that stage, yep. And all it was a simple run from Kyogo and a ball. I think it was Rogic puts it over the top.
Yeah, but the finish. I'm not directly comparing him to the King.
It's coming here.
But it was like a Ralston-esque sort of finish. It was just so composed and under that amount of pressure. Not an easy finish whatsoever. And he made it just look so simple. And again, here's the thing. I know Kyogo was starting and he played and he was great today. But I really don't think he was 100% fit either. And that's what made it even more impressive for me.
Is this the moment, everyone, with your blessing, when we just go all in on Kyogo? the guy's just ridiculous. This is a guy who had just come back into the team today, and as you put it earlier, he dragged Celtic to that trophy, and he'll take so much pleasure in doing that. You know, when you see some of the criticism, the completely unfounded and unfair criticism he's been getting from so many people in Scottish football, and the Hibs fans were at it again today, but it just doesn't faze him at all. And he's just such an intelligent player. He offers us so much defensively. There was one today when he went and raced and won the ball back, and just offers us that calm finish when he's in on goal. I mean, those two finishes today, and probably one of the biggest games of his career. I mean, he'll have played in huge games, you know, previously in Asia, and he's played for Japan, but that would be one of the biggest games. You know, he's moved across the world to try it in Europe, and this was his first big final with people watching, you know, all around wherever, and he stood up and was counted and scored 2 brilliant goals.
Also as well, Hamish, the amount of football he's already played this year too, and he just doesn't look knackered or burned out from it. Yeah. And I know that Ange has already addressed on a press conference that he's got a duty of care and he will look after him. But you know, he's got the sports scientist already saying, you know, Kyogo's nowhere near 100% fit, but Kyogo himself is saying, no, I feel ready, I'm good to play. And I mean, at that point, who's Ange going to be trusting after a display like that?
I know.
It's amazing, and I think we already were all in with Kyogo, weren't we? And after the hat-tricks against Dundee and the performance against AZ Alkmaar, but he's just an infectious personality. He's brilliant to watch, and he's just an exciting player. And that's what it's, you know, every time, for as long as I've been following Celtic, always had a real exciting forward in their own different way. But Kyogo is just amazing to watch in terms of it. At first, one point in the first half today, I noticed when Beaton came on, he was dropping a bit deeper and everything too, and I thought it was going to literally, you know, make him less of a threat because we weren't going to offer enough up front because he was dropping deep into midfield. But he was just busting. I got to get into the box as much as possible as well, so nothing like that was phasing him. And just a joy to watch, and I'm so happy for him.
And his link-up play was really good as well.
Always is. Fantastic play.
His first touch is just always cushioned. And yeah, I mean that winning goal is it's going to be a goal we look back on for years and years to come. It's an iconic Celtic goal. I know you compared it to the Larsson one. Was it Kilmarnock?
Yeah, it was. Larsson was like a talisman in 2001 against Kilmarnock, and he dragged us through that game as well, just with 3 moments of absolute genius. He kind of got lucky with the lob against Kelly because it deflected over Marshall, but you know, in general, it was like the runs he was making that game, and he was always like out of our main outlet. I think I'm down to 10 men as well, something was off, but I was like Kyogo today, he was our main outlet, and if there was anybody looking to go on the end of chance, end of anything and be a hero for us, it was going to be him. He was just brilliant today.
So that was one end of the park, and you made the point when we were walking in, you know, the big problem Celtic had last year was, you know, not having a deadly striker who was, you know, willing to run in behind and be a nuisance to defences, and we didn't have a goalkeeper who could make big saves at big times. And I think as much as we praise Kyogo, I think Joe Hart deserves so much praise today. I mean, the save from Nisbet is a really good save with his feet. I think he has one in the last minute as well. It was a kind of scramble in the box when Hibs had a really good chance.
When Newell, I think, hit the shot.
And again, that's a guy who didn't have much to do in the game. A bit like Kyogo. First half, you know, pretty quiet, mainly because Celtic had been so far on top. But when the big moments came, Joe Hart stood up and made big saves, and he's one of the reasons that we've won that trophy today. Yeah,
he's just a strong, effective communicator with that defence as well, and he's not shy to let them know if they're not performing to the standard that we expect, and that's a big thing. We didn't have that before. We've always, you know, Foster was a monumental sort of loss for us, hard to replace. I know he was alone, but we were all expecting him to be here permanently. It didn't happen, but and you know what, Joe Hart has just been a rock for us. He's been brilliant, and when I did say today, what I noted down was the game was decided by 2 players we needed in the summer, as Hamish said, like a mobile striker.
On your point.
No, it was just a mobile striker and a strong vocal goalie in Joe Hart. And I don't want to get all cliched and act like a Bampot fan here, but it does seem like Joe Hart really gets what we're all about as well. He's bought into Celtic so much, and he wants to, it's not just about him, he wants to bring the rest of the team on. He wants to use his experience to bring on the rest of the defence, improve others. It's so obvious to see, and he is so happy to be here. And it doesn't, I mean, with Joe Hart, I thought we might only have him for maybe a couple of seasons, and that'll be it. The way that the level he's performing at, and just the presence he's got. it looks as if he could be here for, you know, the next 4 or 5 years, and he's going to really like, sort of buy into everything about Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, I think people look at Joe Hart and it's sometimes, I mean, I love him, but it's sometimes as if he's doing Celtic a favour, you know, by being here, and he's been great for Celtic, but let's not forget how good Celtic have been for Joe Hart so far. This is a guy who couldn't get near, you know, basically any playing time. I think he played like 10 times for Spurs last year, and they were all in like the Europa League in Eastern Europe or in the FA Cup. And this is a guy who's now playing in cup finals in front of, you know, 50,000 people, winning another trophy to add to the amount of trophies he's won in his career. And there's so much more to come from him and Celtic as well.
And just a confidence level too. Like, I know Joe Hart has played at the highest level and he's won big trophies. Yes, I understand that, but he was like publicly criticised at Torino and all that, I believe, by the president. Like, they was actually slagging him off. And as you were saying, he couldn't get a game at Burnley, and the fans, I mean, it got to the point it was a running joke at Spurs that whenever he got to play, like, he was getting applauded and all that, and ironically, sarcastically. And yeah, I get it, like, the guy's won a lot and he's been there and done it, but still his confidence must have been taking an absolute doing at that point, and his next move, whoever it was to, was so important for his career in terms of moving on, and he's chose well with us. And we've won a watch with Joe Hart as well, because you do feel as well, even if anyone like today gets by your defenders at Starfelt and CCV, we've got a big colossus at the back now in Joe Hart, and it's going to be take an extra step to get by him too, and it's great to have, and that's what we need.
Yeah, he's been an absolutely huge signing, arguably as big as Kyogo. At last 10-15 minutes plus the 5 minutes of stoppage time, generally felt okay. I was watching the clock tick down, I think 85, 86, 87, 88, thinking we're doing alright here, Hibs haven't really done anything. And then they have two massive chances at the end of the match. They have the one that hits the post, I think, and then someone blazes it over the bar. And at that point, when that went over, I thought, that's us, we're there, that was their big chance. It's one of those days for them. And then they have one right at the end. It must have been 94, 95 minutes. And I don't even know what happens. I know Joe Hart makes a really good save. It was like a scramble. And at that stage, I'm just waiting for the ball to hit the net. We're delighted Celtic have won this, but and I thought we deserved to win the game overall in terms of, you know, possession and control, but we did ride our luck at times in that second half.
But you need that as well if you're going to win a final. I mean, look at our past ones, the Edward game, for example. You know, we rode a lot there as well. And
were you nervous, think any of those were going to go?
Last 10 minutes, I genuinely was actually nervous, and this is me here. Good. This is me. So I'm human after all, Hamish. So I was genuinely nervous in the last 10 minutes. I felt Hibs were going to sneak an equaliser and take it to extra time. What I wanted to know was...
Just quickly, we'd have been done at extra time as well. Kyogo was off.
Aye, and even mentality-wise as well, they would have got such a rise from it, getting rolled on by their fans. We would have been demoralised, I feel. I felt a great sub was when Scales came on, because he was so important in the last 10 minutes with the height advantage and everything he had. He won so much, and that was getting, because Hibs ended up just going route one, and Scales was heading a lot away, Ralston too, and I felt that was a good sort of good move with Ange putting him on, definitely.
Right, a few comments that we've kind of spoken about some of these. I think Joe Hart made some great saves. What a difference it makes to have a decent goalkeeper.
Great use on them.
Is that your wee burner account?
No.
I saw you on your phone a second ago.
It's notes.
Aero250, legend himself, big long time fan of the channel. That embrace from Ange and Kyogo was special. I've seen the image. That was after the second goal. Kyogo ran over and like...
Was it not at full time?
They might have done that as well, but definitely after the second goal, I saw Kyogo run over to Ange just like he would his father, and emotional stuff. Genuinely beautiful things to see. Chill Pill. Now, I'm looking at the comments, and Carol Starfelt was getting absolute pelters. Chill Pill saying, I thought Starfelt had turned a corner with us, but he had a howler today. That's one of the nicer comments about Starfelt. Genuinely loads of comments coming in about Starfelt. He was poor today, he looked really nervy, but I think we move on. We won the cup, it's one game.
We hope it is just a one-off.
What about this from JJ? I wonder if that's Juranovic. Kyogo is the best since Henrik. What's the thoughts on that? I don't know why I'm looking at the camera, I'm asking you.
Does my opinion count then? I think you'll have to judge it over a season, not the now, but it's going that way. But I think for me the benchmark since Ralston has been Big Dembele. That's always... Dembele is the one for me.
Right,
but
so
Edwards...
compare it right now, I mean, Kyogo, first 6 months compared to Dembele's or Edwards' first 6 months?
Dembele
had
the hat trick against Rangers, and he was just a big physical presence, man. Dembele is still the pinnacle for me, but I would say Kyogo, the way he's going to eclipse Edward, definitely. It depends how long he's here as well. Dembele was stand out for one season, decent for a second season, and a third away. If Kyogo can be consistent and be at the level he is now for like 2 or 3 seasons, he's going to take over Dembele for me, and that's no mean feat. So there you are.
It's crazy. I mean, I thought Dembele was one of the best strikers I'd ever seen at Celtic, and yeah, it's early days, but Kyogo's just. What I will say, I think there's more of a love-in with Kyogo than there even was with Dembele.
I would agree with that. It's a good point.
Mark Fairfield loving it as well. Kyogo would have stuck his tongue out. It would have been perfect. I was expecting that.
It's a great comment.
And the legend Mazhar Yousaf, I hope you enjoyed the game. Maz, I hope you got to see it. This is the start of something special. The Ange era has begun. We've not even spoken about Ange. We've been on for like 25 minutes and we've not even mentioned Ange really. I didn't really expect to be that emotional, and I'm not saying that I was blubbering like a mess or anything like that at full time, but I genuinely did kind of have something happening when Ange was coming over right after full time and he's beating the chest and all of that stuff. Now I don't know exactly what caused it. I think part of it, certainly a big part, is just how much I really love Ange, and I love the fact he's come across the globe to manage Celtic and the stuff he's had to put up with. And people, let's not forget people saying Ange would be sacked by now and away back on a plane to Japan or Australia. Yeah, how's that going? I mean, have a look at that photo of him lifting a trophy, and that's how it's going. Partly due to that, also just I mean, how miserable the last 18 months have been to be a Celtic fan. Let's not forget how horrible it's been. Yes, we won every trophy for 4 years before that, and people say, oh God, can you not put up with bad times? But the last 18 months has been hellish in general, apart from maybe the last 6 months. But last season was hellish to be a Celtic fan. Hellish because we couldn't get to games, hellish because Celtic were abysmal and failed in every test they were set. And today Celtic passed a huge test, and I think all of that, coupled with the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment, and not knowing whether this is, maybe the last game we'll have fans at for a while, or one of the last games, I think it all just meant so much today that Celtic won. We'll see what happens in the next few months. We might not win the league this year. It's going to be difficult, I think. But at the very least, we've won something today. And at the very least, there is something, concrete and substantial for those players to build from today. I just think it's a mammoth achievement. People will look at the fact that we didn't beat Rangers to win the cup, and they'll say, "Oh, you were expected to do it." But beat the team who beat Rangers in the final today. Beat Hearts, the third best team in the country. Beat the holders of the 2 cups, St Johnstone in the semi. Beat even Wraith Rovers, who beat Aberdeen. Celtic have beaten most of the big teams in this country win this competition today, and we've done it while injuries have been happening, while people have been calling our manager a dud, while we've been having to win every single game domestically in the league and Europe as well. And we went behind today and we won, and I'm just so buzzing. I maybe don't look it because we've walked an hour and a half back for Hampden, so we maybe look quite lethargic or whatever, but when I go to sleep and wake up in the morning, God, I'm going to be so happy. I
think you're spot on. That was an amazing choice of words what you just used there. And
thank you.
Really, it's a long time since I actually credit you on this, but I just want to say I'm really happy for Ange. The guy was ridiculed. He was just this supposed cheap option, slagged on a certain podcast that I won't name, and in terms of with that clip of him working hard, he was just mocked. And in general, everyone was laughing at the guy. And he's came in to Scottish football, and it's not an easy world to come into if you're any manager. It's very cliché, it's very bitter and all that, and it's a case of who you know. Ange doesn't know anyone. Ange has just been his own man, and you know what? See, for day one, I've always, me and my thoughts on Ange. To everyone in the audience, I was never always pro Brendan, as you know. And the same way, let's not talk about the guy after him. But with Ange, I just trust everything he says. I think he's a very honest man. He's a very open man, and he's very transparent with the fans. And that's why there's been such a brilliant relationship with him. That's why the fans want to see him succeed, because he doesn't hide anything. and he is just exactly who he says he is. And that's why everybody wants to see the guy succeed at Celtic, including myself too. And I'm so buzzing for him today. Yeah. Really happy that he's a winner after this.
It's massive. He deserves everything so far, and this squad of players deserve everything. And now we kick on and we make this a season to remember. Can I be one of the first people to perhaps mention the word treble? Why not? Why not? Give me one good reason why not. I think this is a special Celtic team that's building here, and I'm buzzing. Right, finally, Daniel paid in the super chat there. Thanks, Daniel. Hart and Kyogo first class. We get our rewards for the hard work. Here's to many more trophies under Big Ange. Hail, hail, mate. You hit the nail on the head. We're going to leave it there. We've been on for like half an hour. We're going to take a break on the channel for the next couple of days, just with Christmas and stuff coming up. I'm going away, so that's Hamish away. So we're going to take a couple of days off. But I think it's a nice way to just finish today by Celtic winning a trophy. Enjoy yourself tonight. We don't know what's coming up in the next days and weeks and months. It may not be a great time to be on this earth or wherever you're based, but for tonight and tonight only, we can enjoy being Celtic fans. The last year has been hellish, and we're winners again tonight. So well done, Ange. Have a great night, everyone. Take care, and hail, hail.